Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Whitney, and on this channel I usually upload let's plays and speed builds of The Sims. In today's video, we're going to be doing a daycare or like a child care facility in Oasis Springs. I guess it's kinda a community lot, but it will be listed as a small business once I get it uploaded to the gallery. There's like an infinite number of potential builds and small businesses that you can create with this pack. Well, not so much with this pack itself, but with different packs you can create so many different types of small businesses. I currently have so many ideas and it's a little overwhelming. I'm literally like dreaming of things I want to build in my game, and I usually come up with most of my ideas in the shower. I don't know why, for some reason whenever I'm in the shower I get like 50 different ideas popping into my head, and then like I'm rushing out the shower to write all these things down before I forget them. I feel like I'm also kind of like coming up with so many ideas like faster than I can actually build them. I talk about this every time I do a community build, but I honestly feel without a really good imagination, The Sims can be kind of boring sometimes. And even with all these different packs, I feel like sometimes that there never really seems to be anything to do in The Sims. I feel personally a lot of the time my Sims stay at home, and I feel before I can start a new save I have to have every single lot customized before I can play, so that my Sims can have a fully enriched life experience. So when it comes to me building community lots, I try to put as much experiences in a single lot as possible, and when building community lots I think about how I could use this lot and how other people can also use this lot. One kind of constant complaint that I see about The Sims 4 when it comes to children and elders is that there isn't enough gameplay for children and elders. And I do kind of agree. I do feel like there's definitely a lot, I don't know, like a lot of the times when I play The Sims 4, I don't really like go into family gameplay. By the time my Sims start having like building families, that's when I kind of like tend to check out, and then I just start a completely new save with just like a single adult, because I feel like The Sims 4 specifically is funner for that. Like usually when I'm playing The Sims 3 and like The Sims 2, like I can do like my legacy. I don't think I've ever completed a full legacy in The Sims 4 where I go through like multiple generations. I usually like kind of, like I said, I just stop once my Sims have children and then I just start all the way over. But in The Sims 3 and The Sims 2, I can like go on and on and on, and I don't get bored because I feel like those games are so much better when it comes to family gameplay. And there's so, especially like The Sims 3, like the pack that I think specifically is the Generations pack, where, you know, when your Sims became adults, like going from young adults to adults, they would have like midlife crises. And elders, I forgot what you could do in Generations with elders, but I feel, oh, they had like the little cane thing, but it just felt like the life cycle was so much more complete in those games compared to The Sims 4. Like in The Sims 4, there really isn't much difference when your Sims go from being a young adult to an adult, and there really isn't much difference between like your Sims going from teen to young adult either. I feel like that's another thing that Simmers complain about, is that like a lot of the times you can't really, I don't know, it doesn't really feel like you're playing with the teen when you're playing The Sims 4. It just feels like you're playing a young adult who can't do certain things and they go to school. And I think with certain packs, I feel like the Sims team, they did try to give kids and teens like their own thing. Like of course the teens, they got their own pack with high school years, and then with children, I think they got like a stuff pack, but it wasn't really a whole lot of gameplay. I think they got like the void critters, and then they were able to play with the little puppet thing, but there really isn't a whole lot of gameplay that came with that. And then I think Parenthood, maybe that was their attempt to give children gameplay, but I feel like that was mostly focused on, again, the adults, the young adults with parenting, so we didn't really get a whole lot of gameplay for children in that pack either. I feel like it is kind of like confusing when I'm trying to think of like what specific things children have gotten in the pack, but I feel like I'm getting confused because there's so many different packs with like a little bit of stuff sprinkled in with each pack. And I feel like I don't know where we are in the roadmap. I haven't really been paying attention to like Sims news or anything like that, but I don't know, maybe in the future we'll get something for children. I could definitely see, I feel like they could like make a lot of content out of like having a roadmap specifically targeted towards children Sims and elders. Like they could do like a couple kits, like clothing kits for children and elders, even though I think we have gotten a couple children kits. But I don't know, I will take even more if I can. And I could see them doing like maybe a stuff pack for elders, or even like an expansion pack specifically for elders and children. And something that I kind of would like to see is like maybe having more after school activities. I think currently the only after school activities I can think of at the top of my head is they have, the scouts, and they do that every evening after school. And then they also have like the acting club. I think there might have been another one, but I can't think of it right now. And another thing that I would like to see added in game, because I've had a mod before, I can't think of what that mod was specifically, but I do know I had a mod before where your Sims will go to school and they could like pick a specific subject to focus on, and they would actually gain skill level in like, for like, I think in high school years they kind of implemented that too, depending, like if you go to school with your teen and they're like, take for example, I don't know, a social studies club class, and they will gain some skill from that. And I feel like even if you don't send, like, go with your teen to school, or if you don't go to school with your child, which you can't do anyway currently in game, but I feel like you should, your Sims should gain like skills while they're at school, because like what other purpose are they at school for? And then I would also like to have more clubs and stuff included in the game. And then these clubs, like specifically, like if you have your Sim take like an art class or something, or art after school art club or something, they'll gain like creativity skill. And me wanting those things, that's basically what inspired this build itself. On the outside, it does kind of look like a bigger build, but I feel like I didn't really get to fit as much inside of the build as I wanted to. And like kind of going back to like the club thing, you kind of can do these things if you use like other packs, like implement like cross pack compatibility. You can like some things I have done to kind of make playing with children Sims funner. Even I've done this with elders too, is by using the club thing that came with Get Together, and you can make clubs for your Sims. Like I've made like a book club and a knitting club for my elders, and then I've also done like, an after school physical activity type of club where I think I used a rec center that had a basketball court, and I had my Sim kind of like make a club with other little kids, and they were basically like a basketball team, even though you can't really have that in the Sims, but in my imagination that's what they were doing. They were like having their little after school basketball team meetup or whatever, and they would like just dribble the ball and they would gain like physical skill. And I can't remember if I mentioned this at the beginning, but like when Businesses and Hobbies was first released, like the first thing that was on my list of things that I wanted to build in game was like a daycare slash like after school type of lot. And the reason why I say daycare, because this lot is specifically catered to I think it will be good for infants. I don't know how it would work in the game, but I feel like toddlers will be able to get a lot of this lot, and also children also. And I really like the lot that I built this on. It's kind of like where I think I deleted the lounge that was in Oasis Springs to put this lot here, and I kind of really like the location because there's like a parking lot surrounded by it. And sometimes when I do community lots, I kind of build a like fake parking lot, depending on like how much room I want for the build itself. Like if I need more room for the lot itself, I will just delete the fake parking lot. I don't really need it because your Sims don't have cars. But I really like the way that it looks because I feel like it's right in the middle of town. Like I don't know, like I feel like it's very accessible. Like you can have your Sims drive and drop off their kid, or they could like walk here for some reason. I don't know why I think about this when I'm playing, but that's kind of like what I was thinking about when I was working on this build. And speaking of things that I think about in builds that you don't really need, it's like this little front lobby area, because I don't know how it is in like other parts of the world, but I do know in American schools it's very common that the main part of the building, like where the kids and stuff are, you can't really gain access to it. Like you have to go through the front office first, and most of the times you can't even get into the school. Like you have to be let in by the lady in the front office. Like the doors, all the doors are locked except for like the main door, and you can't even get in there until the main lady lets you in. I think it's like, I don't know, maybe in like some, like maybe if you're from a different country or something, that might sound weird to you, but like in America it's very common, and it's to keep kids safe. So I wanted to include like a little main waiting lobby area so like parents can drop their kids off and then they can go and spend the evening at this place. Or maybe if your Sims have younger children like infants or toddlers, they can like drop their infant or toddler off here while they go to work. One thing that I kind of didn't include, kind of by accident, kind of on purpose, is the little check-in kiosk thing, because that did come with a business and hobby pack where your Sims can like check into a small business, and you can either choose to have your Sims pay a one-time entrance fee, or they will be charged hourly. And I forgot to include that in the main lobby area. And I kind of feel like with me and my personal way of playing the game, like maybe I wouldn't include that anyway, because I feel like this place, maybe it's like a non-profit type of thing, where it's like, I don't know, for low income Sims. And so like, I don't know, maybe you might be playing with a single mom who is on like a fixed income or a very like small income. They can only like work part-time or something, or they're struggling to pay their bills. I don't know, I'm just like thinking of like a story in my mind about like this type of Sims who would use this lot. So I feel like you wouldn't want to charge them hourly because they already don't have like a lot of simoleons anyway. So I don't know, I feel like maybe it's a good thing that I forgot to include the kiosk. But if you want to put the kiosk there, I think before I upload it to the gallery, I think I will put a version of this build that has a little check-in kiosk. So if you want to charge your little Sim kids to come here, then you can. But I really like the idea of like having your children's Sims have something to do when they get out of school. And upstairs is mostly catered to the kids. One thing that I kind of wanted to include, but I didn't in this build, is a place for music. I couldn't like really figure out where to put that space for, but I feel like at the end it kind of works out. So upstairs, well, no, let's go back downstairs. So downstairs we have like the little infant and toddler area. There's also a little room where they can go and take naps, because infants and toddlers get sleepy all the time. I have not play tested it, so I hope that everything works okay. Like I feel like the little napping room area, it's kind of like cramped, so I hope that your Sims can like be able to have their toddlers take a nap, or have their infants be put down to sleep. Oh my god, that sounds really bad. Have them be put down for like a nap or something. Hopefully they can like get to everything that they need to do. And so basically, like, I can't remember if I included like items for skill building for Sims. I think it's mostly just like creativity. I don't know, I feel like a lot of the items on this lot is specifically catered to like their creativity skill, or for toddlers I think is like imagination skill. But anyway, also downstairs, on like the right side of the building, we have like a little cafeteria area, because I don't know, I remember like going to like little after school activity things, because my mom had to work usually in the evening. So I would usually go like I would go from my regular school to like a different school to like have my like little after school activity thing, until either my mom or my grandma would pick me up. And they like, one of the first things that we would have is like an after school snack time. But I feel like, you know, maybe it's the summertime and your Sims have to like, your Sims have to send their children's Sims here like every day during the week because they have to work or something like that. Because one of the another way that I like to play is I do set up my calendar, and like I set up a specific holiday for like at least 1 week of the summer, because that's another thing that I do. I have my season set up for so I have like 2 weeks for every season. So at least one of those weeks during the summer, the kids are out of school, and that's kind of like their summer vacation. So like I can like pretend that my Sims have to work, and like in real life, it's not really wise to have your children's Sims stay home by themselves. I think in The Sims 4, they can just stay home by themselves even if the parents are at work. But I think the way that I would play is I would send my children's Sim to this place while the parents are at work for the summer. And so if they would be here all day, it would make sense for them to have like a breakfast and lunch here. I don't know if I would personally want to run this small business, or if I would like just specifically have my children's Sims be sent here, because I feel like it would be a lot to try and run this business. I think it could be fun too, but I think the way that I would personally play it most of the time is by having my children Sims go here all the time, versus like me making a young adult or an adult Sim and having them try to run this place. I'm also not sure how small businesses work if you don't own them. Like I don't know how they work specifically as community lots. Like if I build this lot and put it on the gallery and you guys download it. I don't know how it's going to work. And I don't really know if you can use the small businesses as a community lot without like having a sim actually own it. I don't know how that works, but I hope that you're like your sims will be able to just come here without someone having to own it. I know like when I would make like little retail stores in the past will like get to work, I think that's the pack that it came with. I would have like a sim and I would cheat their money and make them the owner and set things for sale that way. And then I would like go back to my regular family that I was playing with and have them come and shop. You don't really have to do that, but that's just something that I like to do, especially like I don't know, for some reason sometimes I like to pretend that my sims are going out to buy clothes, especially like for specific events. So I will like hurry up and make like a little clothing store or something and have like a sim, like I just said, be the owner of that lot and set certain clothing items for sale. And then I can like pretend that my sims are like going to browse that retail spot. And that's like the thing I'm talking about. Like, you really have to like be able to pretend and use your imagination in The Sims 4. In this like cafeteria part of the build, I ended up using these benches. I can't really remember what the benches were from, but I used these ones specifically because they reminded me of the little benches that I used to sit at in elementary school. And they were basically like long tables, like kind of look like these picnic tables that I used here, but they were like way longer and they had like little seats like that you would sit on. And I used some stuff from the Parties Essentials kit, and I think these little plate things, I think they came from the toddler stuff, because in a way I feel like you could also use this lot for like if you wanted to throw your child's birthday party here. I'm not really sure how that would work, but I do think like maybe the owners of this place, they would kind of like celebrate their students, or I guess their customers, or whatever you would call them. I feel like they would celebrate, their birthdays here. Looking back at this footage now, I kind of really would like to maybe actually do like a little elementary school build, even though we don't have like a functioning elementary school. I think there was a mod. I believe there was a mod where you could like have like a school that you send your sims to. I don't know if that mod is still out or if it's updated or not, and I can't even think of like the specific name of that mod, but I do believe I've had one before. But I want to like make like a little fake elementary school that has like little classrooms, and I don't know if you would be able to use a little mentor board to teach the children in those rooms. I would think that you could, but I don't think you can. I think it would also depend on the type of skill, because I know like with the little mentor board, you kind of like have to have certain objects around it in order to teach certain things. And I feel like maybe I could have used the mentor board upstairs, because upstairs we have like another like creativity room. Like I kind of split it. Like one half of it is a room that has like little I can't think of the name of the little coloring thing. We have like a million of them in the game, and your sim children can like color there. And I think there's also like a gaming station, like a little where they can build puzzles together if they want to. And I feel like that's another good thing about this build, is I feel like a lot of times I really neglect my children's sims relationships and like building up friendships. And I really like the idea of like having your sim children have like, that one friend that they grew up with. And I feel like that's another good reason why I included like a space for infants and toddlers. And I haven't really talked about them a lot in this build, because I was really focusing on children when I was working on this build, and like infants and toddlers was kind of like a side thing. But I feel like that's something else that we need more for too, even though we have gotten a lot for infants and toddlers. I kind of feel like, I don't know, in a way I feel like infants and toddlers are more like almost like a prop, like a little background piece or whatever. And I feel like I really like the idea of like having, your toddler or infant sims come here like from a very early age and getting to know and make friends, even though I feel like realistically in, how the game works, I feel like it would just be random children and toddlers spawning here all the time. And I feel like it would kind of be hard to make like I don't know, like let's say like you send your sim here, and like they make a friend when the first time visiting, and then the next time they come, it's like a completely different group of friends. I feel like the only way that it will work is you would have to call that friend that they made and um ask them to come there together. But I really like the idea, like from a story perspective, of having your sim have that one friend that they made friends with after school, and that friendship kind of like grew and developed as they aged as well. I don't know. I feel like that would be really cute. I also feel that this lot is perfect for skill building. Like I mentioned, I didn't really include any like music stuff, but I feel like it's perfect. Like if you have a sim that wants to develop their creativity skill, or I think maybe even their social skill, because like I mentioned just now, I feel like this is a perfect place for your sims to make friends and develop relationships outside in the playground. I feel like there's plenty of stuff for them to do to gain like their motor skill. And I feel like one thing that's kind of like unrealistic, especially if you're like a player like me who has a tendency to start over all the time with like new young adult sims, one of the things that kind of annoys me is, and it's a little bit unrealistic, to, unless you're like use like the little story thing that you can do and create a sim. Usually your sims start off with zero skills, and you can use cheats to give them skills, but it's kind of weird starting off with a new fresh sim and they don't have any skill. And it's kind of weird when you're like trying to tell a story. Like a lot of the times I'm playing with a sim who has like a dream to open up their own bakery or something, and they don't have any baking skill. And so I feel like this is a good place for your sims to start off, and like after school they have like a specific time to kind of like take time to actually develop a skill. And I feel like even with the cafeteria downstairs, if you wanted to, you could like do like group cooking or group baking or something. And this is like a good storytelling aspect of like your sim being like, I picked up my love of cooking, or I picked up my love of creating art from my after school activity. And I think like once they get to a certain skill level, I think once they max out, for example, when they're children, I think if they max out their, I can't think of the skill, I think it's creativity or imagination or something like that. But when they max out that skill, they're able to like start developing like their adult skills in that certain thing. I forgot that I used this little science table thing. This is something that I very rarely ever like put in my Sims actual house for some reason. I think it's, I don't know, I feel like it's like a kind of like a weird thing to have in the house. So I feel like the little science lab thing that, I think there's like a few of them that came with different packs. I feel like this is like the perfect place to put it, like in a building like this. I have like the little art, I don't even think you could say studio, but like the little art thing in the little corner of the room, and then the rest of the room is like fun activities for the Sims to do. And I even like put like little counters in the little art section, and also the little pottery, like, no, it's not pottery, the little clay ball thing that I never ever play with, and also the friendship bracelet thing I never really use either. And I feel like these type of lots is like perfect for like including items that you don't really mess with a whole lot. And I feel like the clay thing is definitely underestimated. Well, by me, maybe not by other people, but definitely by me, because I never really play with it. But I think it's a really cute object, especially if you're trying to tell the story, especially with the new pack that just came out of like, a sim who grew up wanting to become a ceramist, is what I think they're called. And like they went to this little thing and they just played with the little clay thing just to start off with, and then as they grew older they wanted to take an actual class in pottery. I think that's super cute. And then next to, well, the other little room upstairs is like a little library section. And for that, it's basically just that. It's like a library. I did include some computers if you want to. I think, what is the skill that you can have your Sims do for the computer? I think it's like motor skill if they play that little typing game. And then I think there's another skill that they can gain from like they can develop their mental skill, I think, with the computer. But yeah, if they just want to play games, they can do that too. And also, I feel like the little library room next to this room, it's a good place for them to like do their homework. So for example, they might get out of school and then they come here after school, and the first thing that they do is do their homework, and then they can like just hang out with their friends outside or something, or do like an activity inside. But yeah, I hope that I was able to like, you know, put a lot of activities in here. If you want to download the slot for yourself, it will be on the gallery. Probably will post it on the gallery before I upload the video. I will put my gallery ID down below in the description so you can find this build if you want to. But this was a really fun build for me to do. I'm looking forward to creating more small businesses and doing more community lots, and I think I will you know, continue my Willow Creek save file. But for right now, I really want to do like a bunch of small businesses. So I'm trying to figure out like some type of schedule to kind of like alternate between working on my Willow Creek save file and doing like fun small businesses. But if you'd like to see more speed builds like this, and also the Let's Play series that I'm working on, please subscribe so you don't miss anything. And also let me know down below in the comments what you think about this build, or leave any suggestions for future build ideas that you might have and you want me to try. I'm open to ideas. There is still more footage to look at, but I think I'm going to end this voiceover here. Also, don't forget to stick to the very end, because I'm going to, you know, stick up some pictures of this build, because I know sometimes I have to like speed this video up so fast it's kind of hard to see everything. So there will be some screenshots of the build at the very end. I'm so very grateful if you've made it to this point in the video. I appreciate you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.